Good morning, everybody. Again, welcome to LYT Yoga. My name is Caitlin. I'll be your teacher this morning. So the LYT method was inspired by physical therapy and developed by a physical therapist named Laura Hyman. And she based the practice around fundamental stages of human movement. So lying on our back, being on all fours, coming into a kneeling position, ultimately to standing, kind of all the progressions that we take in everyday life. They start even at infancy when it comes to human movement. So it's a very innovative way to do your practice. And today's practice in particular will be focusing on the scapula. And so the scapula is a winged bone that is a key part of the shoulder. So finally time to take my sweater off before we get started. So I'll show you where the scapula is so you have the visual as you focus in your practice today. So I'll turn around briefly. Scapula is a winged bone. You can see how it moves as I'm moving my arm here. And so that's what we'll focus on. And there's a couple different motions that the scapula can take. You know, when you raise your arms up overhead, or when you start to move the scapula away. Lots of different paths that the scapula takes to assist with movement. And then in movements where, you know, like we're looking for that stability, neutral scapula are key. And so the scapula and the ribs will really connect together when they're in a neutral position. And like you can say, you can think of those two winged bones like shutters. And what they'll do is sit on top of the ribs and then be about 2-3 inches apart from each other from the spine, and they're parallel. So that's how you'll know we'll be in that neutral position. And we'll practice that throughout this morning's flow. So I'd like to give kind of when we get started a little introduction into the focus of the practice. And by having this focus for the scapula and the upper body, you'll really feel this spark, this energy that you can take with you throughout your day and then apply what we learn on the mat and bring it off the mat. That's my biggest goal for all of you, is that you get something to take away that you can apply and practice off of the mat practice that we do. So sound good? We excited? I'm excited. So it was a beautiful way to start the morning as a LYT flow, I think. It's just a beautiful, energizing way. So the playlist is in the chat for you. So if you'd like to play that at any time throughout the practice, you are more than welcome. If you've got your block ready to go, we're gonna lie on the mat and get started. So what you can do is you can take your block kind of on a higher setting. I like to go a little bit lower setting and place it like this when we do our scapula scrub. So we're gonna lie down on top of the block. The bottoms of the scapula, the bottom tips are going to be right at the bottom of the block. And then you'll feel that your neck does come off the block a little bit, and we're just gonna spread the arms wide and visualize like a grizzly bear, and they're scrubbing up against the tree. They've got an itch, right? But how we're using the scrub is to wake up the fascia, that's connective tissue, in between the shoulder blades. Breathe in. Breathe out. It's just a way to help reset our body and prepare for our practice. All right, so take your block. You're gonna place it in between your legs with the thinnest setting. So you can place it in between your thighs, and then you can lift the legs up. Take the hands behind your head. Bring the elbows in so you can see them out of the corner of your eyes. Draw the lower belly in, tailbone towards the floor and sacrum. Inhale, exhale, lift, sliding ribs toward hip. We'll just start with a couple of our abdominals here like this. Unfold and reset. Inhale, exhale, lift, feel shoulder blades lifting off the mat and reset. Inhale, exhale, lift. This time, feel the ribs draw towards the hip and look down towards the lower abdominals, really engaging into the obliques as you squeeze the block. And reset. Last one, inhale, exhale, lift. Let's connect to the lower abdominal, squeezing the block in between the thighs. And then release. We're going to add here for our flow. Inhale, exhale, lift. Reach the left arm up over the shoulder. And then we're going to pull the elbow in and release. So this is coming into protraction when we reach, neutral as we pull the elbow in. One more, this time drawing the elbow down towards the floor. Hand behind your head, release, reset. Options with your legs, you can bend the knees or you can keep them on the floor. Inhale, exhale, lift. Right arm this time. Feel the scapula kind of sliding off the rib. And then it's going to come back onto the rib. Slide off the rib. Pull the elbow in. Last one, draw the elbow down to the floor. Reset the arm. Hand behind your head. And we come down. Let's do two more, just like that. Inhale, exhale, lift. Arm reaches up. So the protraction. Neutral as you bring elbow towards the floor. Reach up. Bring it down. One more, just like this. Bring your hand behind your head and lower. Last one. Inhale, exhale, then lift. Right arm high. Elbow down and up, really keeping core engaged, feeling the obliques again, all that webbing of the core muscles, they're all working together. Last elbow pull here, bring hand behind your head and lower down. Let's take the block and bring it to the left side for a supine twist. So for this round, what we'll do is take the right knee, block is level to the left hip, and the right knee is on top of the block, just resting here. Take the right hand on top of the arm, bring it across, opening up through the chest wall. So the shoulder blades drawing into neutral, right? They're parallel to each other and seated on the top rib. So the block is a nice assist here for the twist. And you'll feel this wonderful opening across the chest wall. Just like we did with our scrub. It's all connected. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's find the other side. So block will be level to your right hip this time. And the left knee will rest on the block. Same idea, left hand comes over, opens up, and shoulders rest on the floor. Now we all have one side that might feel a little tighter than the other. This is yours truly tighter side. So I really feel this one also cascading down the obliques and trunk and into the hip. So it's a great release to do. Breathe in and breathe out. Great, let's come to another series of our abdominals. This time though, the block is gonna go wide and place it right at the knee joint. and feel your legs hug the block together. And you're gonna feel the activation into the obliques and deep core muscles like transverse abs into the pelvic floor. So we're really going for the deep core today. Let's take hands behind the head. One more series of abdominals, something new. Tailbone drawn toward the floor, core is ready to go. Inhale, exhale, lift, shoulder blades come up. This time, open your elbows wide and take a small twist right to left. Small twist is better, so we focus on scapula lifted off of the mat. Recenter and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift. Open elbows to the left, from left to right. Right shoulder blade stays up off the mat. Center, elbows in, reset. Inhale, exhale, lift. Elbows wide. Small twist to the right, or from the right to the left. Left shoulder blade is up. Back to center, elbows draw inward and down. Woo, I feel this one in my obliques. Here we go. Inhale, exhale, lift. Elbows wide. Rotation. Center, elbows in and down. Who feels the obliques? I know I do too. Woo, by squeezing the block. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Bring the elbows wide into the side. Twist. Bring it back to center. Elbows in. Reset. Last one. Inhale, exhale, lift. Feel your head pressing in back into your hands. Neutral chin. Elbows wide. Twist. Center. Elbows in and down. Woo. Definitely wakes up the core, right? Bring your block off to the side. Take your hands behind your thighs and roll up. Let's find quadruped. So that is all fours. So you want to bring wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Draw the belly in, and the ribs also are containing the energy. We're going to focus on the serratus, which is muscles under the armpit attaching to the ribs and scapula. For the serratus puff, feel shoulder blades slide off the ribs, and then they come back to neutral. So it's like a mini cat-cow in a way. Elbows don't move, they stay still. But we use the core, keep everything strong and stable. When we're in weight bearing, we press through the hands a lot, and the serratus will activate. This is a great one to get it engaged. One more here, and then we're going to transition to dolphin. Bring your forearms to the floor. Options for you. You can lace your hands or place your palms onto the floor. Tuck the toes under. Draw the hips vertically toward the sky. Belly is in. Rib cage is also in as well. Take the feet wide. You can bend the knees as much as needed. Now we're going to stabilize on one side. If you feel more comfortable here as you're getting used to dolphin, by all means, you can keep both hands down. If you're ready to try single arm, you're going to take left hand out to the side in a tent position, and it's parallel to the elbow. This feels good and you want to stay here, you can do that, or place hand on sacrum. Let's find the other side. Reset. So that equal weight distribution. And then take right hand out to the side, parallel to the elbow. And you'll notice the left scapula has to turn on really fast. And then you can take hands to scapula, keeping the hips level. That's what the hand does. It gives you some feedback. Good. Let's come into downward facing dog. So we'll rise up onto the palms, keeping the weight distribution into the hands. That's how we feel upper body and the serratus all kicking in. I encourage you to bend your knees in down dog. Enable the hips to go vertical, like you're pitching a tent. Your tailbone is the top of the tent. Press the palms down, and we'll activate all through the shoulder complex. So much happening here. Inhale fully. Exhale, release. We'll be here for a few breaths here, so let's really practice that fullness of breath. And you'll feel it into the back ribs. If there's any tightness or feelings that you just want to let go, you can make the full exhale. Pressing the palms firm through the floor again, feeling that activation through the ground, up through the arm, and right into the scapula, all connected. We're feeling good? Down dog is such an energizing pose. Beautiful. Let's walk in and we'll begin our first series of sun salutations. Coming into forward fold, the knees are bent. Reach the arms up. Pause in Tadasana. Tadasana is our foundational pose that we want to maintain throughout each pose we do. Inhale, exhale, tip from the hip, hinge the hips back, bring hands to the floor, forward fold. Step the right foot back, knee comes down, as do the toes, low lunge. Bring your hands by your sides and feel the shoulders and hips and ribs all stacked. Let's take some shoulder rolls. Feeling the scapula lead the way. Arms by your sides. Right glute is on. Let's bring our hands to the floor, coming into plank. Hands are locked and ready to go. We step back to plank, lower the knees to the floor, and lower down into cobra. Head of the humerus is lifted. Squeeze the glutes, pull back through the hands. Chin is tucked. Toes under, press to plank. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward this time. Left knee comes down. Same idea with the lunges. Left glute is on. Core drawn in and brace. Feeling your scapula really leading the way in this shoulder roll this morning. Let's step hands to floor and step in forward fold. Let's go again. Inhale, press through the feet to rise strong, arms forward and up. Exhale, tip from the hip, hands to floor, left foot steps back. Same idea. Shoulder rolls. We'll see this later on if you'd like to try. Bring the hands to the head of the humerus and taking a further shoulder roll there. Bring hands to floor. Step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale as we lower. Inhale. Pull back through the hands without moving them. Squeeze the butt. Shoulder blades in neutral. Tuck the toes under. Press up. Lift the hips. Down dog. Left foot steps forward this time. Right knee will come down. Same idea with shoulder rolls. Squeezing the glutes. Very good. Let's take our hands to the floor, step in, finding forward fold, knees bent and ribs meet thighs. Let's reach up with a new lunge variation. Tip from the hip, forward fold. Right foot will step back, the toes stay curled under. Take your block, bring it behind you. right by your sacrum. Point the elbows behind you and almost try and pull the block apart, opening the chest wall. Squeeze the right glute. Very good. Block to floor. We'll visit it later. Step back to plank. Knees down. Lower slowly. Sweep back to cobra. Plank. Push into down dog, lifting the hips. That's where we get the activation and that full containment of the core. Step your right foot forward. Left knee is down. Take the block behind you. Elbows point back and pull the block apart. Pointing the elbows back, called internal rotation of the shoulder. Place block down, hands to floor, forward fold, Tadasana. One more cycle, we'll repeat that. Hands to floor, step the left foot back. Toes curl under, left glute is on. Bring the block with you. It's one of my favorites to help open up the chest. It's a great way to bring that openness to the front body. Hands to floor, finding plank. Knees to the ground, lower. Keep the head of the humerus lifted. Squeezing glutes into cobra. Plank, down dog. Step the left foot forward this time. Right knee is down. Once more with the block. Feeling the shoulder blades coming in and down. Feels so good, right? All right, bring block to floor, hands to floor, step in, and we rise. That is how we reset the body. Let's come into our first sequence. So forward fold to begin, arms forward and up, hands to floor, step your right foot back, crescent lunge. Bring your fingertips to the floor so they're kind of grazing your mat. Right glute is on, core drawn in, and lift the fingertips by moving your scapula. So feel the scapula, this is protraction, neutral, just like we had in core. Good. That's it. Come to low lunge, draw the right knee to the floor, right toe stay lifted, right glute is on, arms coming into goal post. Take one at a time to draw the elbow down and in toward the ribs. But let's visualize scapula. They come in and down, and then they return up. So a couple of motions they're taking here today. One more of each. We're going to take hands to ground, then come into one-legged plank. Left leg is lifted, squeezing the glutes. Pressing the palms through the floor. Take a walk. Lift the right leg, then the left. Alternative. Knees down as you walk. Still great core engagement, and we still focus on the scapula. We get it all. One more of each. Bring your knees to the floor, lower down. Take your hands for locust, place them like you're sticking your hands into your pockets. So like we had with the block, pointing elbows back, squeezing the glutes, you can lift a little. Because the hands are giving feedback. Their hands are telling the glutes, we have to kick in for stability of the lumbar spine. Shoulder blades, finding that neutral position. Let's lower it down. Hands under the shoulders, from plank to down dog. Press the palms through the floor, activating through the upper body. This time, bend the elbows about quarter to a half range and feel the elbows drawing inward. We call this our turbo dog. You'll feel the elbows try and draw into each other like a magnet. Keep your hips pointed vertically. You can bend the knees as much as needed. A knee bend in down dog is so helpful. In our turbo dog, you'll find the triceps really firing. Ooh, I know I do. How we feeling, everybody? We doing good? All right, let's step into forward fold. Walk the feet in. Rise, Tadasana. Ooh, feel that energy already. Let's do it. One more time on the other side. Hands to floor. Step your left foot back. Keep the chest lifted, fingertips graze the mat. Left glute is on. Fingertip lunges. Go into protraction, neutral. So visualize the scapula. Shutters open and shutters closed. Yeah, good. Take one more here. Finding your low lunge. Left knee down, left glute on, goalpost arms. Drawing elbow in and down. Visualizing the scapula again. One more each side. It's a great mobilizer for upper body. I love this one. All right, let's come to one-legged plank. Right leg steps back. And again, you can try with the knees down. And you can lift the knees as an alternative. Still engaging the deep core. I'm going to challenge you to pull back through the hands so we find neutral in the scapula. One more of each. Bring your knees to the floor. Lower down, locust. Hands into your back pockets. Elbows in, squeeze glutes, and we lift. Option, legs can stay down. Let's find turbo dog. Bring hands under shoulders. Press up. Hips high. So again, bend the elbows about quarter to halfway. Tailbone points vertically towards the sky. Let's take a pause here and breathe in. Breathe out. There's a lot happening here. Let's leverage the power of the ground with our hands. We'll feel the elbows drawing in. Very good. Let's walk in and begin a new sun cell. Knees bend, press through the feet to rise. Tip from the hip, we find forward fold. Step or hop into your plank. Let's step for round one. Hands are staying on the floor. Knees can lower. Elbows point back as we lower down to cobra. Again, squeeze glutes. Pull back through hands. Through plank, we find down dog. Let's step in and find our forward fold. Well done. Let's go again. Inhale. Exhale, hinge from the hips, so feeling the femurs point back. Hands to floor, coming into plank. Knees can lower, and it's one unit, all moving together. Good. Pull back through hands. Toes curl under. Press. Find down dog. Excellent. Stepping in, finding Tadasana. Let's take two more here. If you'd like to try the hop, hands to floor, hop, hold before you lower, and then lower down. Sweep up, push back. Or lift the hips. So we push to plank and we lift the hips to down dog. Walk the feet in, knees bend, and we rise. Let's take it again. Inhale, hands to floor. Step or hop back to plank. Pull back through the hands, finding that neutral position. Knees lower, sweep up. Plank to down dog, and we step in. Rising. Tadasana, beautiful. How are we feeling? Good? Let's come into down dog, hip from the hip. We're gonna find down dog shrugs. The small movement of the shoulder blades, elevation into depression. So very small movement here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Lower the knees or step your left foot forward. Draw the right knee down to the ground. Low lunge. Keep the toes curled under. Right glute is on. Place your hands on the humeral head. So we did this before, right? Feel one at a time. The scapula leading the way. The whole shoulder complex gets involved. Really powerful. Good. Last one, take the left hand to the low back, reach the right arm high. We're opening the front line of the right side of the body, ribs contained in, core drawn in, and hand to low back for that support. Take the right hand to the floor, finding crescent lunge, knee will lift. Bring your hands to prayer. The elbow comes on top of the thigh, or if more comfortable, you can stay more elevated. Take the right foot toe tap in, so parallel to left. Step back. We get a little wake up into the glutes and it feels so good. Stepping back, drawing in. Glutes are squeezed, core engaged. And scapula finding neutral. In this rotation, we've moved through the ribs. Two more. Last one, hold. Bring right knee to, or right hand to floor, right knee down. This is our modified side plank. So we're gonna step the left foot back. I'm gonna face away from you just briefly though. Lean into the right scapula. So you'll see that lean in for leverage. Take the left hand, cup the head of the humerus, and then we do some lifts with the left leg. You'll feel the underside obliques and underside muscles of the hip in here working. And you're using your hand as feedback. Cupping the head of the humerus, making sure it's in the joint secure. Centration. Hold. All right, let's come into side of the mat. We've got we come into quadruped. I got ahead of myself. We come into quadruped. We've got our serratus puffs again. We've done these before. Small movement. Elbows stay still. If you're looking for more, a little extra heat, lift the knees. Woo! This is good. You want to try just one or two? See how it feels for you. Good. Well done. Let's step the knees back, finding plank, lower down to the floor. We have locust pose. Bring your arms into goal post. You can bring your head resting on your mat. And in goal post, the arms are lifted, shoulders into neutral. You can squeeze the glutes. and then lift the legs. Keep the chin tucked in, head can stay on the floor. Bring hands under shoulders. Let's find down dog. Well done. Now we're ready to begin again. Shrugs. Small movement. But it's just giving you the visual. How the scapula moves. We make them mobile. When we're bending the knees here in down dog. Good. Bring the right foot forward. Left knee lowers. We come into our low lunge. Toes curled under. Glute is squeezed. Hands to the heads of the humerus. Little shoulder roll series. Inhale. And exhale. Do you feel the scapula leading the way? The whole shoulder complex works together though. All four joints. Let's take left arm high, right hand to low back. You can feel that vertical lift through the core, through the ribs, the sternum, that's the chest bone, the breastbone. And then we reach, words are hard. We reach high toward the sky. Let's find our crescent lunge. So take your left hand to the floor, draw the left knee up, and then we'll find prayer. Remember, elbow can rest on top of or stay lifted if that is more comfortable for you. Step in and step back. I love this pose. It's a favorite of mine. We engage the glutes, we engage the legs. Good. You'll feel this leg loaded. The glute is loaded as the hip pushes back, hinging, just like forward fold. Good. Let's find our side plank. Bring your left hand to the floor, left knee will come down. Right leg will sweep back. Take right hand to left humerus. We find abduction. Just feel how the obliques engage, the core, the hip, all for stability. Good, and then leaning into the left scapula. Very nice. Good. Bring your hands to the floor. Let's find plank. Lower down. Locust. Can lift the head this time, but the chin is in neutral. Goalpost arms, legs can be down, but glutes must be squeezed. Good. Let's find down dog. Hands to the floor. We press. Lift the hips toward the sky. Remember, vertical lift of the hips. Going vertical. Let's step in. Finding Utkatasana, chair pose. Hips hinge and push back. Core drawn in, arms raised forwards and up. Sun salutation B. Take a forward fold, hands to floor. Let's step back, finding plank. Knees can lower. Let's find cobra. Lower slow, controlled by triceps. Draw the belly in, pull back through hands for cobra. Press back, finding downward facing dog. Or press up to plank, hips go high. Take your left leg, step it forward. Right foot can step back or stay lifted with the heel. Warrior one. With the arms in warrior one, or your alternative of crescent lunge, practice the elevation of the scapula. So anytime arms are overhead, scapula will elevate. Squeeze the right glute too, just having that full support through the legs. Good. Let's come back, find plank. Hands to floor. So we want to keep the hands down. So we've got the scapula turned on. Lowering to the floor. Sweep back. Press through palms. Lift hips. Let's repeat warrior one. Right side. Stepping. Right foot forward. Back heel can land or stay lifted. Practice the elevation. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. Let's find plank. Step the foot back. Lowering down. And try on the toes. Down dog. Step in. Hold at the top. Tadasana. Very good. One more sequence to add into the flow. Coming into downward facing dog. We're going to step back into down dog to begin. We have warrior one on the left side. Step right or left foot forward. Left heel can be down or the heel can be lifted. Arms raised forward and up to begin. You're going to sweep into devotional warrior. Ribs meet the thigh. Right glute is on. So is the left. Step into airplane. Hinging. Left hip back. You can even press, take your finger into the hip crease to feel that. Squeeze the right glute. Let's face the right side of our mat for goddess. Hello, Rebecca, I see you now. Goddess pose. We can take some shrugs. One at a time. Maybe both together. And even do humeral heads. Just like this. Feels good. We got our glute squeezed in goddess. Bring your hands to the floor, under the shoulders. Parallel your feet, so pointing the toes forward. Straddle forward fold. Cat and cow. This allows you some greater opportunity to release through the spine, moving the shoulder blades. Be mindful of knees. Keep a little bend. Inhale and exhale. Oh, feels good. All right, everybody, let's come into dolphin. Bring your forearms to the floor. You're at the front of your mat. Hips are lifted vertically, knees bent, and pressing through the forearms. Just like we do in down dog, we activate the weight bearing through the hands. Forearms take that roll in down dog. Let's step and walk the feet back, coming into forearm plank. Shoulder blades in neutral. We're going to find our right side forearm plank. So right arm is going to stay down, fingers point away from you, and we're going to rotate. Option to bring the knee down, making it modified. Option to also cup the hand. See how the head of the humerus is doing. Come back to forearm plank, also with the ability to have the knees down. Good. Lower to locust and take the full pose. Another variation is pressing the palms through the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Great way to fully activate the back. Let's come into downward facing dog. And begin again. Warrior one, right side. Step the right foot forward. Squeeze the glute. Reach through the arms forward and up. Tip from the hips, devotional warrior. Arms sweep back. Feel the shoulder blades in neutral. Load your right leg. Push forward and lift into aeroplane. Stabilize the pelvis. Squeeze left glute. Good. We've got goddess pose. So I'm going to turn away from you for a second, facing the left side of your mat. We're tall through the spine. Do alternate shrugs, double shrug, maybe a little humeral head release. Good. Let's come into our straddle forward fold. So parallel the toes, hinge from the hips, bend the knees. Cat and cow, here in straddle. Remember, it's giving you some extra space to let the scapula move freely. Let's find dolphin. Coming to the front of the mat, we're going to walk the hands, bring the forearms down. Feeling the hips vertical. Knees bend. Good. Let's find left forearm, or no, we're almost there for that. Walk the feet back into forearm plank. Drawing the core in, squeezing the glutes. Now we come into left forearm side plank. So left hand points away. You can bring the knee down. You can even cup the head of the humerus. Lots of great options here today. See what feels good and right for you. Your body always gives you those clues. Let's return to forearm plank. Knees are toes, hips are level, scapula neutral. Lower down, finding a locust. And try palms behind you. Alternatively, you can lift the hands away. But the pressing of the palms is a cool way to use the ground to feel more activation in the back. Bring palms to the floor, rise to plank, finding down dog. Good. Let's come to child's pose. Bring the toes together. Little alternative of child's pose. Rest the pinkies on the mat. Thumbs point high. Lift the elbows and forearms, and we'll feel a nice release into the lats. It's a good release because the lats have connection to the scapula. From the pelvis to the scapula into the humerus, it's a big muscle. So we want to give it some space to breathe too. Let's take a breath in, full breath out. Beautiful. Let's find our down dog. We're going to rise, step in, Tadasana. One more series for each side. We're doing so well this morning. Let's bring our arms forwards and up. Hips from the hips, step the right foot back for our fingertip lunge. We had this one earlier, right? We're gonna add. We had the fingertips guided by the scapula. Now lift the elbows like a row. Same idea though. Scapula leading the way. And you got your right glute on, right? Last one like this. Take the elbows, bring them in. So we got one with a row where the elbows are in. And then kick back the triceps. Lengthening the arms, raising them to that shoulder level. Good. Last one, pause. Lower to the floor, low lunge. Squeeze the right glute, tall through the core. We've got left hand to sacrum, right arm high. Good. Option, side bend, little release. Feeling the ribs open up here and the ribs lifted on the left. Good. Let's face the right side of the mat. Side lunges. Palms can be to the floor, shifting side to side. The goal is hip flexion. Feeling the hips point back, core drawn in. You can bring hands to thighs. But we want to keep that long cylinder as the core, nice and level. Squeeze the glutes. Love side lunges, they're so good. Let's come to the back of the mat. We've got Our plank walks, remember these? We bring them back. Squeeze the glutes. Pull back through the hands to bring the shoulder blades into neutral. Let's lower to the floor, finding locust. The alternative, if you'd like to try, is bow. Squeeze glutes. Doesn't have to be super high bow. Should even be your locust, like you practiced earlier. So lots of good options for you. Bring hands to floor. Coming into three-legged down dog. We got the left leg high. We want to keep the hips level here for our three-legged down dog. We're going to step into aeroplane. So we've got, actually three-legged dog other side as well. We alternate. And then step, right foot forward, finding aeroplane. Then bring your hands onto the hips, bending the knees, bracing the core. Good. Let's come to the front of the mat this time. We've got our twisted crescent with a step. So we step, palms here in prayer. Stepping in and back. In and back. And if you feel a little off balance as you step in, you can draw the core in. Feel that rotation around the rib cage. Good. Let's come into our side plank. You can bring the knee down. Coming into side plank here. You can also do the abduction with the leg lift and cupping the head of the humerus once again. Good. We have something new. We're going to take the right or the left leg, bring it forward, and we're going to rise to stand. Lift the right knee and reach to the sky. Repeat. Bring right knee down. Find your side plank. Step back. Repeat. And lift. Right knee, right hand down. Left leg sweeps back, lean into the right scapula. Step the left foot forward. Lift the right knee, stabilizing through the left glute. Lower slow, last one. Knee down, lean into the scapula. Lift high, pause at the top. We come into half moon. So we're going to open up. If you'd like to use a block, I've got my other one handy. You can use a block as you open up. Good. Let's find our warrior two. We got our left leg forward. Goalpost the arms. This time, bring the left arm forward. Right arm is in goalpost. Draw the elbow toward the hip crease in reverse. And then we have warrior variation. Repeat the flow. Pull the elbow in, down towards the hip, and reach. Good. Take one more. We're going to windmill into dolphin. Good. Let's come into our dolphin pose. Forearms down or hands laced, knees bent, hips vertical. Good. Let's bring the knees to the floor. Little release with the forearms down in cat and cow. So we did the straddle earlier. This is with the knees down in quadruped. Let's find down dog. Lift the hips. Feel that vertical direction. And then by doing so, you're going to feel the ribs draw in and the core is contained. Let's set the right foot forward. Fingertip lunge. Squeezing the left glute. Fingertips draw back. Now draw your elbows in for this next row. Make a fist. Then kick back. Hold the kick back. Good. Hold here. Lower right knee to floor. Let's find low lunge. So you've got your right hand on the sacrum. Left arm reaches high. And then side bend. Feel the rib cage open on the left. Underside ribs lift on the right. Good. Side lunges. So I'm going to face away from you this time. Side to side. Engaging the glutes. Hips in flexion. Good. One more each way. Meet at the back of your mat. So we're going to turn back of the mat, and we've got our one-legged plank walk. So it's going to feel brand new, though. Here's why. New direction, new perspective. So it's going to feel new. But we use all those good habits we built in the beginning and bring them here. Last one, push in, or lift the hips into down dog. Lift, right leg, three-legged down dog, squeeze glute, and then switch. Good. Left airplane. Left leg comes forward and lands. Hands can be on hips as an assist to level them out. Knee bends. Look ahead of toes. Right glute squeeze. Good. Let's come to the front of the mat. Windmilling. Right leg will be forward at the top. Coming into twisted prayer. Step in. Step back. In. And back. Very good. That's it. Pause here. We open into half moon. So I'm going to turn away for just a moment. If you need your block, you can use it here. So that openness of the body here in your half moon. Let's find warrior two. Glutes are squeezed, right toes forward to the top of the mat. We've got arms raised to shoulder level. You're going to bend your right arm now, sweeping back, reverse. Warrior variation, right arm overhead, or left arm overhead. Left elbow to hip crease. Take it again. Last one, very good. Let's find our dolphin. So bring the forearms down to the floor. Hands can be laced. Palms can be down. Good. Draw the knees to the floor. Finding your forearm quadruped. Cat and cow. So the serratus, or the scapula moving. Inhale. Exhale. One more down dog. Press palms through floor, hips point high. Good. And let's bring the knees to the floor, finding child's pose. We're going to reach the arms forward. Pinkies can be down with forearms lifted. Alternative, you can keep elbows down. Lace hands, bring them behind your head or into prayer. And you'll still get a wonderful release for the lats. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in again. Feel the breath even into your back ribs. And exhale. We have made it to our Shavasana. So let's come onto your back, or if you'd like to be seated, however you'd like to take your Shavasana practice today. We'll spend a few moments here. Let's come down. You can have your feet on the floor. That helps your lower back and pelvis. Arms can spread wide with the palms up. Maybe you'd like to do one leg at a time or both. But if you start to feel your lower back lift or your pelvis lift, 1 foot or 2 feet down is good. Take a moment here to pause and absorb. We did so much in one practice together. There's a rush of energy that can flow through after this practice. It gives you that spark, ready to take on your day. Absorb how your shoulder blades are doing. I know after a practice like this, I'll become very aware of my shoulder blades. So use this time for you. Little rest, restoration, recovery. You get to define your Shavasana. As you're here in Shavasana, just feel those touch points on your mat if you're lying down. Sacrum, scapula, and skull, the back of your head. If you're seated, feel that length through the spine, that space that we've created. So let's start to come back. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, bringing a little bit more energy back into your body. Guided by your hands, and rise into seated slowly. We're still here in this time of reflection, absorption of our practice. I thank you all for coming today and spending part of your Saturday morning taking time for you, for your movement practice, to feel good on and off the mat. I hope that this flow for you leaves you with a feeling of rejuvenation, but also with a spark. And through movement, we get that spark of energy, vitality, and it feels really divine. Thank you for bringing your energy and joining me here today. Namaste. Thank you all for coming. I really hope you enjoyed your practice. I'll come a little bit closer to the screen.